All right. Good morning, everyone. I hereby convene the February 24th, 2025 hearing of the County of Santa Barbara Zoning Administrator hearing. My name is Linda Liu, and I'll be the zoning administrator for today's hearing, and Mr. Jonathan Martin will be clerking. This hearing will be conducted under the provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Act, Open Meeting Law, as well as the provisions of California Planning Law and the Santa Barbara County Code. We have 4 items on today's agenda, but one of them will be continued or is being requested to continue. The clerk will read each item into the record, and I will announce any ex parte communications, and then I will get comments from the planner, followed by the applicant or the applicant's agent, and then I will get comments from the public. Anyone who wishes to testify should submit a speaker slip, or if appearing online, should use their raise hand feature. All right, the first portion of our agenda is for the general public comment. This period gives the public an opportunity to comment on matters that are not on today's agenda. Mr. Martin, do we have any requests to speak on this?
We have received no requests to speak on this item. If anybody would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand in the audience. Seeing none.
All right, then we are ready to proceed to our standard agenda. Mr. Martin, I'd like to take item number 4 first, since they are the ones requesting a continuance. Ms. Cruz, are you ready?
So yes, this is Tatiana.
One second.
Yeah.
1 second, I'm just going to read the item.
Yeah, Mr.
Oh,
Martin needs to
sorry.
read the item into the record. I just needed to make sure you were online and
Okay.
available. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We have item number 4, 24 CUP-00037. Abu Lafia Agricultural Employee Dwelling and Single Parcel Water System. Hearing on the request of Cynthia Abu Lafia to consider the following case number 24 CUP-00037 and to determine the project is exempt from pursuant to section 15303 of the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act as outlined in the notice of exemption included as attachment C.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. And by way of ex parte communication, I did speak to or email Ms. Cruz on this project. Ms. Cruz, I understand you're looking to continue this.
Hi, Miss. So yes, we would like to please continue this to the March 3rd hearing date, in order to allow staff some time to review 2 as-built water storage tanks, that are proposed under this project now.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cruz. The March 3rd hearing has actually been canceled due to a lack of items. So our next hearing, according to Mr. Martin, is March 17th. So I can continue it to that date.
Okay, we'll plan for March 17th.
Okay, is the project applicant here?
I don't see them online.
We do have them here.
Let me see. Oh, are they in person?
In
Okay.
person.
All right, please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Ms. Lou. Jay Higgins representing the owner, and we're fine with the continuance, although March 3rd would be better if that's.
That is not available. That's already been noticed and posted as a canceled hearing. Sorry. So March 17th?
Fine.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Higgins. Mr. Martin? I believe I will go ahead and continue this item to March 17th. Are there any requests to speak for this?
We have received no requests to speak for this item.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Cruz.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Martin, our first item
Okay.
on the agenda, please.
Item number 1, 24 CUP-00014, AT&T at Foxen Canyon, CSL 04547, Tier 3A. Here on the request of Jerry Ambrose, agent for the owner, to consider the following case number 24 CUP-00014 and to determine the project is exempt pursuant to section 15303 of the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I do not have any ex parte communications to announce on this. Ms. King, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am.
All right, you are on.
Good morning, Ms. Liu. My name is Veronica King, and I'm the planner for the AT&T at Foxen Canyon Tier 3A project. The subject property is a 31.76 acre parcel located at 3015 Foxen Canyon Road in the San Ynez Valley Plan area. The site is zoned Ag 1 and is currently developed with a cattle farming operation and 2 existing telecom facilities, including T-Mobile and Verizon Wireless. Access to the site is provided by an existing gravel driveway via Fox and Canyon Road. The proposed project is a request for a minor conditional use permit to allow construction and operation of an unmanned wireless telecom facility within 3 new lease areas for AT&T, which together total 788 square feet. The equipment proposed with the application includes 6 new poles, 6 panel antennas, 9 remote radio units, a 20 kilowatt backup generator, and a wooden fence enclosure. The AT&T antennas will be situated on top of a knoll in the northwestern portion of the lot, adjacent to existing telecom facilities, while the supporting equipment is proposed within the 8-foot-tall wooden fence enclosure downslope and to the north of the antenna location. No grading is proposed, and 1 deceased oak tree will be removed as part of the project. Electrical service will be provided by PG&E. The proposed project is consistent with all applicable policies and ordinance requirements in the LUDC and the comprehensive plan. Staff recommends that you make the required findings for approval, determine the project exempt from environmental review, and grant approval of the project subject to the conditions of approval. This concludes staff's presentation. Staff and the applicant are available for questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. King. Is the project applicant here? Please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Ambrose. I'm here on behalf of AT&T. I don't have anything to add to Veronica's presentation. Just here to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambrose. One question for you is if you had an opportunity to review the conditions of approval that Ms. King is proposing.
Yeah, we're in agreement with the conditions.
Great. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Ms. Martin, do we have any requests to speak on this?
We have received no requests to speak on this item, and everybody in the audience is for other projects for this agenda.
All right, thank you very much. I'll go ahead and close out the public hearing for this item. I do not have any clarified questions for you, Ms. King or Mr. Ambrose. Thank you very much for the staff report. I'll go ahead and make the required findings for this project as specified in attachment A of the staff report, including the CEQA findings. I do determine that this project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15303 as outlined in attachment C of the staff report. And I approve this project, case number 24 CUP 00014, subject to the conditions of approval included as attachment B of the staff report. Thank you very much. Mr. Ambrose, thank you.
Okay, we'll go to item number 2 now.
1 second while Mr. Wakamiya sets up.
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Wakamiya, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Martin, go ahead and read that into the record.
Okay, well, item number 2 is 24 CUP-00016, 6730 Del Playa Drive LLC, new single-family dwelling, SB 330. Hearing on the request of Lonnie Roy, agent for the property owner, 6730 Del Playa Drive LLC, to consider the following case number 24 CDH-100016, and to determine the project is exempt from pursuant to section 15303, new construction and conversion of small structures of the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I do not have any ex parte communications to announce. Mr. Wakamiya, are you ready to proceed?
I am.
All right, you are on.
Good morning, Ms. Liu. My name is Henry Wakamiya, and I am the planner for the 6730 Del Playa Drive LLC new single-family dwelling SB 330 project. The project is being processed under the Housing Accountability Act and Senate Bill 330, which includes protections for housing development projects, such as the vesting of applicable objective standards at the time the application was submitted. Additionally, the project is subject to a maximum of 5 hearings, including hearing continuances and hearings for appeals. Projects that are consistent with objective standards cannot be disapproved or conditioned to lower density unless the decision maker finds, supported by a preponderance of evidence in the record, that the project would have a specific adverse impact upon the public health or safety, and there is no feasible method to satisfactorily mitigate or avoid the adverse impact. The subject property is a 0.11 acre parcel located at 6730 Del Playa Drive in the Goleta Community Plan area and is zoned SR M18. The project before you today is a request for a coastal development permit to allow construction of a housing development project that includes a 3,290 square foot structure that contains a 3-bedroom single-family dwelling and a 4-car garage. Additional site development includes bike racks, landscaping, hardscape, and frontage improvements. No trees are proposed for removal, and project grading includes 175 cubic yards of cut and 150 cubic yards of fill. An accessory dwelling unit is proposed under separate permits. The proposed project complies with all applicable objective requirements of the Article 2 Coastal Zoning Ordinance and the Comprehensive Plan, including the Coastal Land Use Plan and Goleta Community Plan. It is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15303, new construction or conversion of small structures. Staff wants to note that condition of approval number 8 contains unneeded language that should be deleted. We recommend that the condition language in brackets, which states or specify other approved offsite location, be stricken from the condition. With that, staff recommends that you make the required findings for the project, including CEQA findings, determine the project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15303, and approve the coastal development permit subject to the conditions of approval with staff's recommended changes to condition number 8. This concludes staff presentation, and we are available along with the applicant to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wakamiya. The applicant's agent is here. If you want to step up. And please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Lonnie Roy. I am the agent for the applicant. I don't really have anything to add to Henry's presentation. I just wanted to thank Henry for his help on this project and bearing with us as this is the second iteration of this project. So we really appreciate his help on this, and I'm here for any questions.
Great. Mr. Roy, have you had an opportunity to review the conditions of approval as requested by Mr. Wakamiya?
Yes,
All right, and you are in agreement with those conditions?
yes.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Martin, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
We have received no requests to speak on this item, and we have nobody in the attendees column or present in the hearing room.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Wakamiya, I just have one, well, sort of two. One is my curiosity. Second one is more clarifying condition. I understand that your condition of approval for construction is from 7 to 4, and is that the standard construction hours in this area?
Ms. Liu, so there is a policy in the Goleta Community Plan that says interior noise sensitive uses, e.g. residential, shall be protected to minimize significant noise impacts. There is not a specific development standard related to that, though, that specifies hours. So we applied the county standard condition for construction hours when there's noise sensitive uses in the vicinity.
Great. Thank you very much. So the other one that I was more curious about is in your staff report analysis regarding the sidewalk section, there's a mention about public works and their requirements. Can you walk through that and how we find that consistent?
Ms. Liu, so the project does propose frontage improvements that are consistent with Public Works transportation standards. And these improvements are located within existing right-of-way. So that policy talks about dedication of right-of-way, but there isn't any needed because the proposed improvements are within existing right-of-way. And the Public Works Transportation Condition Letter that was included in Attachment B specifies that all encroachment work or all improvements within the right-of-way will require an encroachment permit. So they will be required to get one prior to
Okay.
begin any work within the right-of-way.
Okay. So the part where it says that the owner or the agent shall dedicate rights away is not necessary?
Correct, because there's existing right-of-way, no dedication is necessary.
Okay. Do we need to modify or update the condition or the findings to make sure that that is explicit? Ms. Liu? Mm-mm.
Ms. Liu, I believe the language you're referencing is a
policy requirement language. And so the analysis in the staff report that says that it's consistent would continue to be accurate. As Mr. Wakamiya said, a dedication isn't required. So I don't believe a change would be needed since it's just quoting the policy requirement.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Liu. All right, Mr. Wakamiya, I don't have any further questions for you. I'll go ahead and close out the hearing on this item. And I will go ahead and make the required findings for this project as specified in attachment A of the staff report, including the CEQA findings. And I'll go ahead and determine that this project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15303 as outlined in attachment C of your staff report. And I approve this project case number 24 CDH 00016, subject to the conditions of approval included as attachment B of the staff report and as revised in today's hearing. Thank you very much, Mr. Wakamiya. Mr. Roy, thank you for being here. Ms. Liu, thank you for the assist. All right, Mr. Martin, last item.
We'll go to our last item. Item number 3, 24 MOD-00022, Artigas Eshigari addition and garage. Hearing on the request of property owners Patricia Artigas and Lucas Eshigari to consider the following. Case number 24 MOD-00022 and case number 23 CDH-00033, and to determine the project is exempt pursuant to section 15301, existing facilities, and 15305, minor alterations in land use limitations of the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I do not have any ex parte communications to announce on this. Mr. Wakamiya, you're back on.
Good morning again, Ms. Liu. I'm the planner for the Artigas Echigare addition and garage modification project. The subject property is a 1-acre parcel located at 4131 Marina Drive in the Eastern Galita Valley Community Plan area, and it is zoned 1.5 EX1. The project before you today is for a modification and coastal development permit to allow construction of a 94 square foot addition to the existing single-family dwelling, a 531 square foot attached garage, and conversion of the existing 467 square foot garage to habitable space. Additional development proposed includes replacement of existing driveways, a spa, a new 630 square foot pergola and covered patio with an outdoor kitchen, replacement of an existing pergola and patio covering with a canvas canopy covering, and new landscaping and hardscaping. The project proposes a modification of the required 125-foot front setback to allow the 6 required parking spaces to be located within the front yard setback area, and for a setback reduction to allow 2,077 square feet of the single-family dwelling, including 1,452 square feet of the existing single-family dwelling encroachments to be located within the front yard setback, which will result in a 11.9% reduction of the front setback area. The proposed encroachments will be a minimum of 75 feet and 2 inches from the Marina Drive road center line, rather than the required 125-foot setback. Grading will include less than 50 cubic yards of cut and fill, and no native or specimen trees are proposed for removal. The project was reviewed by the South Board of Architectural Review and granted preliminary approval after making the finding that the modification is minor in nature and will result in better site design. The South Board of Architectural Review commented that the proposed modification would result in a superior site design, with the proposed architectural changes being minor in nature and appropriate to the existing development. Additionally, the South Board of Architectural Review supported the placement of parking spaces in the front yard setback. The proposed project complies with all applicable requirements of the Article 2 Coastal Zoning Ordinance and the Comprehensive Plan, including the Coastal Land Use Plan and Eastern Galita Valley Community Plan. It is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15301 and section 15305. Staff recommends that you make the required findings for the project, including CEQA findings, determine the project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15301 and 15305, and approve the modification and coastal development permit subject to the conditions of approval. This concludes staff's presentation. And staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wakamiya. Is the applicant's agent here, Mr. Henson?
Tom, you're muted.
Thank you. I thought it came from your side. Not much to add. I just wanted to point out that 9 of the 12 houses along the south side of Marina adjacent to ours are located within the 125-foot setback and what appears to be an older setback of 75 feet. So we're with our proposed addition, we're consistent with the neighborhood, and we're at 66% of Hope Ranch's suggested square footage. Neighbors in the Hope Ranch border in favor of the project. They wanted the garage pulled forward so the garage doors could face sideways instead of face the street. And I think that's all I have to add.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henson. Have you had an opportunity to review the conditions of approval as requested by Mr. Wakamiya on this project?
I have, and they look fine.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Mr. Martin, do we have any requests to speak on this?
We have received no letters and we have nobody in our attendees column. So we have no public comment.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wakamiya, Mr. Henson did bring something up that I wanted to ask you regarding modifications along Marina Drive in this vicinity. Have you done any analysis in terms of what's normal or average in that area?
Ms. Liu, I looked into a few different modifications located in the project vicinity. One is on the same block between Cresciente and Marina Drive that was approved this past year that reduced the 125-foot front setback down to 90 feet. And then there was a modification about a street over on Mariposa that was recently approved that reduced the 125-foot front setback to 68 feet. And in that one, they also allowed their required 6 parking spaces to be located within the front setback. So there are other modifications that have been approved in the project vicinity for similar scopes of work.
Great, thank you very much. And has there been any questions or concerns from the neighbors regarding this proposal?
I have not received any concerns or comments from neighbors regarding this project.
All right, great. Then I don't have any further questions for you. Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and close out the public hearing for this item and make the required findings for this project as specified in attachment A of the staff report, including the CEQA findings. And I do determine that this project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines sections 15301 and 15305, as outlined in attachment C of the staff report. And I approve this project case number 23 MOD 00022 and 23 CDH 00033, subject to the conditions of approval included as attachment B of the staff report. Thank you very much, Mr. Wakamiya. Mr. Henson, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Liu.
Mr. Martin, I believe that concludes our hearing.